airplane walk.
Yep, this is our tradition. Every time we build an airplane, it's time for the airplane walk.
Don't run into the tree.
You are watching the RC Jet Jock episode of 32, Avios, King Twin 1700, Final Assembly, and Maiden. Hey guys, RC Jet Jock here with Donkey Girl. That's right, can you say hi?
Hi.
We are going to be doing the final assembly on the King Twin 1700 right there behind us. We're going to be hooking in all the servo wires. We're going to be getting the wings on. We're going to be doing our CG and ready for our maiden flight. So stay tuned for that. Join us right now as we get this thing going. We first start off by plugging in the servo wires into the receiver. As you can see, I'm not holding it very far from the airplane as they don't really give you too much length on the wires, and it can become a very tedious job. Just real quick, we put in that outer wing panel, and we've noticed that we're not getting the little buckle that clicks, so probably not going to hold the wing in place and probably not get a good connection for the ailerons. So we're going to go ahead and shave some extra foam off of that wing panel and stick it back on. I started off this process by using a knife. You see me pick it up several times, but it never really did the job very well. We started using 80 grit sanding paper folded over a few times to give it a more rigid feel. It was kind of slow going work and you had to sand both sides. But after several attempts, I finally got it to fit into the buckle. The frustrating part of all of this is that it started chipping my paint on the edges, so it didn't look as smooth as it did before I started. Now I'm starting to stuff the receiver into the opening that they give you behind the battery bay. The opening is pretty generous, but when you start stuffing in all of those wires, it can become very, very tight. Now that the aircraft has been bound, we tested out the control surfaces and noticed that some of them weren't moving. So we went around to each one of them with a knife to cut away some of the excess polyacrylic that was interfering with their movements. All right, guys. Well, we fired it up. We've got all the servos straight. We got the flaps programmed. I'll share that with y'all in a little bit. I'm a little frustrated at the moment. The rudder servo appears to be stripped and not working well. That was a lot of sanding we had to do on those wings to get them fit. I would expect that to be a little bit better, you know, coming with the production kit. Oh! So, I may or may not get that servo in the tail. It's going to be a real pain to get that tail off. It's kind of buried in there pretty good, so we may fly it. It's Maiden without a rudder. I don't think it's going to need it too much anyway. But it is a multi-engine aircraft, so we're going to take that into consideration. But I want to get you guys a good maiden flight just for y'all to see it in due time, and we'll probably change it out later whenever we do the landing gear modifications. So I'm just going to put it away for today and pick it back up tomorrow when I'm a little less frustrated with this airplane. So we'll try again tomorrow. Good morning, guys. I've decided to go ahead and proceed and unplug the servo for the rudder, so that's been taken care of. I didn't film any more yesterday, but I did go back through and center all of my control surfaces. So guys, that's something to look out for. I had to make an adjustment on every surface on this airplane, including these flaps here. Now they're level, they weren't even. And it was an easy fix. It was fairly easy. Just wanted to let you guys know that we had to do that. So now we're gonna move on to CG and we'll have a flying airplane. Let's get that going. We started off using a 3200 milliamp battery, just like everybody else is seeming to be using. And we marked our CG, well, we started off at 65. And just really couldn't get it to go. So then we changed to a 5,000 milliamp battery. Still really couldn't get the CG correct. So we remeasured and put the CG to the rear end of what the internet manual was recommending at 75. With the heavier battery and the rearward push, we figured we would have CG, so we started permanently fitting the receiver and the satellite, which is satellite we tucked into the nose, by the way, and we still didn't get our proper CG. So we got out some tire weights and started adding them inside of the nose landing gear bay. And, well, after a few attempts and 3 ounces of total weight, we got it balanced. All right, guys, just finishing up here. We've got the CG. I think it was just the added paint, but we had to add 3 ounces of nose weight. And we also upped our battery from a 3200 milliamp to a 5000 milliamp to add some more weight. So this thing it may be a little heavy, but we'll see how she flies. I'm sure she'll do great. But that was also to achieve the rear CG of 75 millimeters. We couldn't even get it to touch 65, and I wasn't about to add any more weight. As far as rates go, I'm just doing a generic rate. I've got 100% with 30% expo set in my radio right now. And then my mid rate is going to be 90% and 30% expo, and my low rate is going to be 70 on the rates and 30 on the expo. That's how I have it set up for both of my aileron and my elevator. Don't need to do it to the rudder since it's not working. We'll touch that another day. Now we're going to finish up, because there's a few easy connectors on there, by putting a little dab of Gorilla Glue on each one of the nuts, just so it doesn't back off in flight. I've had that happen before. All right, join me while I finish that up, and then we'll see you at the airfield. For this process, we recommend application of the Gorilla Glue with a toothpick, just so you don't make a mess. All right, guys, what time is it?
Time to fly!
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
She's off. Hey guys, RC Jet Jock here with the crew, and we're ready to maiden our King Air. Are y'all excited?
Yeah!
All right. Whoa, there's a lot of enthusiasm this morning. They drank their coffee. Just before we get started on this, I wanted to clarify something. I did set the CG to 75 millimeters. Now, if you look up here and up here, you will see that the internet manual and the leaflet manual that they give you have 2 different CGs. So since the internet manual has a 65 to 75 millimeter CG, and the leaflet had an 80 to 90 millimeter CG, we decided to leave it at 75 because that might be a good sweet spot.
Yeah!
I've never seen so much excitement about CG before. All right, guys. Well, it's time. Y'all ready?
Yeah!
All right. Let's get the King Air going. Since this isn't working anyway. All right, here we go. All right, flaps work. That's right, it's left, up, down. Here we go. I can't wait to get new landing gear on this thing. It's a little bouncy.
A whole lot bouncy.
All right, here we go. Maiden flight of the King Twin 1700, aka King Air. Oh, let me put my weights on my nose here. That's a little touchy. That's really touchy. That was just a warm-up, you know? All right, right now we're just setting our rates right here. Setting it on switch G. High rate is 100. I'm gonna do 30%. Expo, and then mid-rate we're going with let's do 75, and then 30, and then we're going to go down to 50% on low rates just in case it's just too crazy. That's a little bit more manageable. What do you think? I mean, that's the low rates. I mean, I kind of like the low rates better. It's a nice flying airplane. It's a doll. Okay, let's check out the flap settings. There was no flap mixes set in the manual that I could tell. So we're gonna go ahead and deploy some flaps and we'll see if we need to add anything. So I'm gonna come over over us right here. I'm gonna go to landing flaps first and we'll watch the airplane, see if we need to add any mixes later. Okay, here we go. Not too bad of a balloon. Full flaps. Definitely more lift. Okay, and no flaps. That's probably pretty good. I could probably deal with that for landing. Come around and look at our other side here. Woo, she's pretty. Am I getting in close enough?
Mm-hmm.
Very stable airplane. CG was spot on. I used 75 millimeters, 5,000 4S battery. Here we come right down the runway. Let's do another one like that. I'm flying on my mid-rate settings, just in case anybody was wondering. I like it. Low rate on the nose. Nice flying airplane. I haven't cracked 50% throttle yet. Plenty of power, even with all the extra weight. 5,000 milliamp 4S battery. And all that extra paint, and we have 3 ounces of lead in the nose. Because this is a Maiden, I'm cutting the flight early to 5 minutes. I know I have more battery than that, but I have my 1 minute warning come up, so I'm going to do one more low pass and I'm going to configure. Drop in the gear. Nose gear stuck. Cute. Let's see if I can try to get that nose gear back down. Good thing I know I have extra power. Looks like I'm going to be needing some new props. Nothing. All right. Well, this will be a one flight wonder for today, I guess. Full Full flaps. Shave some weight off of it. Wow, well that's not exactly how I wanted my day to go. Let's see if I can get that nose wheel back down. Well, we got it out. It was getting hung up inside the housing, or inside the wheel well there.
Run!
So, yeah, let's go taxi it in and we'll go check out the battery levels. That was well over 5 minutes. It's just slightly warm in here, not too bad. 38% left, and we flew it for 7 minutes. So 7 minutes flight time, 38% left, so I could have probably put in another minute, would have been good. So let me determine if I'm gonna fly it again and we'll come back. All right guys, after that first flight, we ended up doing 7 minutes total with 30% left. So I set my timer for 7 minutes now. Y'all didn't see it on video. We actually took it up and did another round of the patch. Got the nose gear straightened out. It was actually getting hung up on this foam in the inside of the landing gear bay. So we just shaved that out and we're ready to try it again. There wasn't any harm done to the airplane. So let's get it going. Yeah, you could definitely see that it would be nice to have a functioning rudder. Oh, this is a fun plane. I like it. I like it a lot. Hot dogging and Hotel Victor. And we'll get videos of us slowing it down and all the different phases of flight later once we get that rudder repaired. I just wanted to get her out here for a flight. Such a smooth plane. I like it. Still on mid rates, as advertised earlier. That sun sure looks pretty on that skin.
Hey, Daddy, I got all my calluses off now.
Good.
Because I'm scraping them on the ground.
You got the apron pedicure.
Oh, then there's a pair of eyes scraping on
I didn't like that close together that time. I wouldn't want to mess up the paint job, you know? No scrape. Well, it's a good thing that this didn't have the same endurance as my airplane that I used to fly. It had a 6-hour endurance plus reserve. That was a long day to go without having to make a pee-pee.
it.
7 minutes is a long time. All right, let's see where we're at on timer. Got 1 minute remaining, so I'm gonna start setting up for landing. See, if I was just patient, I would have heard the tick, you know? There's approach flaps. I'm gonna put the landing gear right down in front of us so we can see that. That was real beneficial last time anyway. There we go, 3 green, no red, yay! There we go. Okay. Just wanted to show you guys it can be done. Welcome back. That Maiden was a challenge. So was the building on this airplane, but it was well worth it. It flew awesome. What did y'all think about this airplane?
Well, I think that it's a very pretty airplane, and I think that you did a good job on it. But there are some things we need to fix, like the landing gear, the bumpy landings. But that's about it. And I also think you need to chop the lines on the vents.
Yeah, I left the little lines on the vents a little long, but you know, y'all wouldn't have noticed it until she said anything about it. Hey, Loogie girl, what did you think?
I liked it. Why I liked it is because I like how it flies.
Yeah, it did fly really pretty, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we were able to kind of keep it in close and low because it's a super stable, easy flying aircraft. I give it, you know, an A+ on the flying characteristics. It's a wonderful airplane. Now, where I can ding it a little bit, and as we discussed before, was some of the quality issues in the airplane. Example, the tail servo there on the rudder, that was my bad that I didn't catch that before I installed the rudder and painted everything. It was actually stripped out of the box. So, you know, always hook up that servo tester before you do any permanent finishes. The wings, as you saw too, they needed to be sanded a little closer for the little snaps underneath to activate. Big tip is go ahead and shave that down before you paint, so you don't end up chipping your paint and it looks kind of crappy. And then finally, the nose wheel. Hey.
I think that we need big gear.
But finally, the nose wheel. Hey. Finally, the nose wheel getting hung up in the landing gear bay. Mine was a little crooked out of the box, so you know, it just took me to shave off the foam a little bit, and it went up just fine. On that nose gear landing, luckily I didn't break a prop, but it did shave them up a little bit, so they probably weren't in balance in that second flight. But you know, it flew well and it looked good. What were some of the mods that y'all are wanting to do to this plane?
Well, I do want the cat to be the same color as the whole fuselage.
So you want, yeah. So what she's referring to is the cockpit section here. Is she's saying that we need to go ahead and paint it to match, and I agree. And I know y'all have left in some comments as well that it doesn't match.
Ow, this really hurts.
You know, like we said again, we were just trying to do our best just to get it out faster and see maybe if somebody luck chance it would be the same. What were you gonna say?
I think it would need some pilots too.
Yes. So definitely want to do some pilots. Maybe what do y'all think about putting a camera inside the cockpit too?
I think that's great. I think the pilot will be pushed around too much.
Well, no, we wouldn't put the pilot in there. We'd put a camera in there instead and make it look like you're riding in the King Air.
Ooh, cool.
All right, guys. Our final thoughts here after the assembly and the first maiden flight is, yeah, it had some quality control issues, and I'm sure that the guys over at Avios and Hobby King are listening to us all, and they're going to get those fixed for their second production run. But as far as flying, this airplane is solid. It was so worth fixing all the little things. I had so much fun with it, and to have a model of just, for me personally, such a awesome airplane, I couldn't have been more happy. Wouldn't y'all say, girls? It was a fun experience all in all?
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for this episode. So let's have the send-off from the girls and the Diggity Dog.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye!
See you next time. Bye.